All right, man. So I just got finished watching Counterpunch news video where he was basically making a reaction and about a video that Deontay Wilder did a while ago. Now this video is old, and Counterpunch TV has a history of like he talks about videos that came out a long time ago, but just watching this video, it just like it kind of irked me because some of the things that Deontay Wilder was saying in the video. So I'm going to give my 2 cents in it. Now, Deontay Wilder in this video was basically criticizing Mike Tyson's resume and saying how is this guy even that great? Because he couldn't beat guys like Evander Holyfield. He couldn't beat guys like Lennox Lewis. He beat old guys like Larry Holmes. He beat uh, Michael Spinks, who was a former light heavyweight, and he was basically chastising Mike Tyson's resume and saying that he's not even that great because obviously a lot of people criticize Deontay Wilder's resume. Now, first off, I want to start off by saying let's take a look at Larry Holmes. A lot of people look at Larry Holmes and say he was washed up when Mike Tyson fought him. And I agree, Larry Holmes was an older fighter. All right, he's definitely wasn't in his prime. But I'm not going to sit here and say he was washed up because Larry Holmes, 4 years after he got knocked out against Mike Tyson, he fought a prime young Ray Mercer. Now, Ray Mercer at the time had just brutally, and I mean brutally, knocked out Tommy Morrison, a guy who was getting a lot of hype. Ray Mercer at the time was knocking guys out left from right. Larry Holmes went in there and schooled him. Ray Mercer is the same guy that Lennox Lewis has said in the past that was one of his toughest fights. Years later, Lennox Lewis challenged Ray Mercer, and Ray Mercer gave Lennox Lewis a tough fight. They fought on the inside, and this was an older Ray Mercer, right? Larry Holmes beat a young Ray Mercer. By the time Lennox Lewis fought Ray Mercer, he was like, I believe, 36 years old. He was already older than, he was more of an older fighter. And he still managed to give Lennox Lewis a tough fight. And like I said, Lennox Lewis himself has said that Ray Mercer was one of his toughest opponents. Now, so that's why I don't look at Mike Tyson beating Larry Holmes as, oh, Mike Tyson being an old man. Yes, he was past his prime, but he still had enough in the tank to beat somebody like Ray Mercer 4 years later. All right. And another thing I want to talk about is the reason somebody like Mike Tyson gets way more respect than somebody like Deontay Wilder was because Mike Tyson wasn't holding one belt hostage. You know what I'm saying? Mike Tyson was not holding one belt hostage, Deontay Wilder. He was not holding one belt hostage for 5 years. Mike Tyson wins the WBC belt, and he immediately unifies with the other champions. He immediately does that. He immediately fights Michael Spinks. He immediately fights everybody else and becomes undisputed. He doesn't have one belt hostage for 5 years. All right? That's something that Wilder never did. And that's why I respect Tyson because, mind you, Tyson was like 21 years old when he became undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. He didn't have that belt hostage. He could have used that excuse, oh, I'm too young, I'm too green. They were saying Deontay Wilder was too green when he was 30 years old, and that's why he wasn't unifying with Vladimir Klitschko. Yeah, how come Mike Tyson wasn't too green? How come by the time Tyson was 21, he was undisputed? And yes, he lost to Evander Holyfield. Yes, he lost to Lennox Lewis, but guess what? The point is, he fought them. He fought Evander Holyfield. He fought Lennox Lewis. He fought these two guys. And yes, he lost, but the point is he fought them. You never fought Anthony Joshua, okay? You never fought Dillian White. You never fought Vladimir Klitschko. The best guy you fought was Tyson Fury, and you lost. And besides Tyson Fury, you fought Luis Ortiz. You go around calling Larry Holmes an old man, and oh, Deontay Wilder fought past his prime Larry Holmes. But at least Larry Holmes was a former long-reigning champion. Who the fuck was King Kong Ortiz? A guy who was an old-ass man, probably older than Larry Holmes was when Mike Tyson fought him, and a guy who never was a champion. He was just a contender. So this is what I'm talking about. Mike Tyson challenged himself. Mike Tyson became undisputed immediately. Something you never did, Deontay Wilder.